Welcome! Today I'm going to be explaining our new game, Apocalypse. It is a game of creativity and also cards. So without further ado, let's get started. So, in this game there will be one player representing the apocalypse and the other players will be representing survivors. The apocalypse's goal is to try and wipe out the survivors totally, and the survivors' goal is to try to survive with as many survivors as they can for the duration of the game. The first thing that will happen is the apocalypse will play a card. So the apocalypse will play a single zombie, and they will target someone. In this case, they will target player 2. Now, player 2 cannot save themselves unless they have any save themselves chips. But player 1 can save player 2 if they have anything that can deter a single zombie. In which case, they do. They have a pipe bomb that draws a single zombie to it, so that plays. And player 2, during this round, can draw one save themselves chip. The apocalypse then draws one card from the peril card pile and plays again. This time, they're going to play a diaper filled with poop, running away from the single zombie. Player 2 walked into a nursery filled with diapers filled with poop, and they were so overwhelmed by the smell that they fainted and were in mortal peril. Luckily for them, player 1 has a breathing mask, which they used to save player 2. Player 2 can now draw another save themselves chip. So, the apocalypse draws another peril card, and then this time they will target, they're going to target player 1, because player 1's been causing a lot of problems, with Gorilla Glue. While player 1 was helping player 2 in the nursery, they spilled Gorilla Glue all over the floor and got stuck to it and couldn't escape. And the zombies were coming for them. Unfortunately, player 2 does not have any cards that will save player 1, so player 1 gets turned into a zombie. Player 1 could not save themselves because they didn't have any save themselves tallies. During this round, player 2 will draw another save themselves chip. They're very selfish. The zombie now joins the apocalypse's zombie army, and they draw one peril card for every survivor card that they have. So, we'll do that. They can no longer use the survivor card, but they are a zombie and they can use this peril card. Let's say that the apocalypse now targets player 2 again because they're the only left survivor, and they say, giant angry crabs come and attack player 2. Player 2 is going to play 5 full cans of beans and say that while these giant angry crabs were running at them, they threw 5 full cans of beans, very heavy, and they killed the giant crabs. Now, if the apocalypse thinks, that doesn't work because the giant angry crabs have, armored shells, but player 2 insists that these cans of beans will penetrate the shells, there's obviously conflict because it's a creative game. So, in that case, we'll roll the die as a tiebreaker. Let's say player 2, the survivors, win on 1, 2, and 3, and the apocalypse wins on 4, 5, and 6. Roll the dice. It's a 6, so the apocalypse wins that one. The player 2 does not get to play this card, however, they can save themselves one time, so they're not turned into a zombie. However, because the zombie is a zombie and not a survivor anymore, they also get a turn after the survivor has played. So they're going to say that they, as a zombie, pushed a large boulder onto player 2 in an attempt to kill them in the apocalypse. However, luckily for player 1, the zombie, the player 2 also has a revive card, which brings one zombie back to life. That takes the turn of the zombie. So the player 2, that doesn't count as the player 2's turn. Luckily for player 1, the zombie is now brought back to life and joins the survivor army again. So kind of tough luck for our apocalypse, who I forgot to draw cards for. And then the game will continue like that until either the apocalypse has killed all the players or the players have survived the allotted amount of turns, which the turns will depend on how many players there are, how many survivors there are in the army. So that is the gist of it. One thing that's important to note is that you don't actually need these survivor chips. You can just keep track of them on tallies that each survivor can keep track of, as long as they don't cheat. More details